and record.
And I got my guru with me. Fantastic. Thursday night, Shredders Unite business call. Welcome, everyone. And I need to delete, I got to silence this.
Is that the Facebook?
Yeah, it plays in my big ear. I
Yeah.
think it's good. Okay. So I think we're still in. Melanie, give me a thumbs up. Are we still in Shredders Unite business? Are we broadcasting? Okay, excellent. Fantastic. Honey, you got to mute yourself too when I talk. All right, little technical here. I wanted my guru, my wonderful, beautiful wife, Allison Harris. I wanted her to feel comfortable. So she is in her captain's seat, which is at the front of our dining room table, which if you look behind me, way back there, over my right shoulder, we're in the same room. So what we're going to try to do tonight is when I'm talking, she's going to mute. And when she's talking, I'm going to mute. So we're going to try to do this and try to do it where we don't get too much reverb. First of all, everyone in our wonderful ER Shred group, thank you for joining ER Shred Shredders Unite business call. This is the call, what I like to say is basically sharing is caring. We want to basically make it fun. We want to give some tips and tricks and concepts, ideas of how you can share your experience with others. And in the process, in doing so, you can either get your products paid for, which is really, really cool, by the way, and it can grow from there. I think that from my experience in the past 17 and a half years, the most amazing thing is that attending an event with our fulfillment company, when we had them, I would look at the crowd and they would always ask the question, how many people came here because of the business? And you'd see about 2 or 3 hands raised out of like 10,000 people. And then who came here for a health experience? And just about everybody would raise their hand and they'd go nuts. So what we are all about at ER Shred is we talk about a couple key words. One is being inspired, but the most important word is empowered. We want to empower you to take back control, for you to decide what works for you. And this is the beauty of what we're learning in the past 11 months. Is simply this, is that if you follow the 11-day protocol, for most of us, we're going to get you to what we refer to as a baseline that allows you to decide to reintroduce foods back into your diet. And diet is whatever you put in your face. Whatever you eat is your diet. And you get to decide what works for you and what doesn't. And this is freeing. This is empowering. But it's also very, very exciting because think about this one simple concept. You are choosing in what works for you. And as a result, and because of those results, you are enlightened, you're happy, you're energized. And we started to get into this last week with our Thursday night call. Last week, we started to touch on mindset. I know Lenny Evans, bless his heart, came up with the term come alive on day 5. Well, we wanted to take away the day 5 because we realized that come alive feeling happens a little bit different for all of us. We're all unique and different, but we do know this for a fact. If you stick with the protocol long enough, you're going to have that, oh my gosh, I came alive. What does that mean? I'm enlightened. All of a sudden I'm happier. I'm energized. I'm excited. The world looks different to me. And this is all part of maybe the health and wellness protocol we're following. I don't know. I can't put a thumb on it. I mean, we talked about it, but last week we did start to share what our views were. And it was a great panel. I loved it with Crystal, with Carolyn Davis, and of course, Susan Rothman. We started to talk about what's happening to our mindset. Sean talked about it. He said, it opened up my mind. I became a happier person. I know I got on and sometime in December or November and literally got teary-eyed because I was trying to tell people how good I felt. And I got to a loss of words. And I literally reached out to my wife and son. My wife would say, you got to talk to my wife, Allison. She'll tell you I'm a better husband. I'm a better person. I'm a better stepdad. I'm a better father. I don't have such a short fuse anymore. I'm calmer. Whatever it might be for you, this is your personal experience. And what we'd like to talk about tonight is simply that as our vibration changes, as we feel better about ourselves, maybe it's looking better in the mirror, we are excited, energized, our vibration changes. We know that we show up differently out in the public. We show up differently when we communicate with people, be it on the phone or even on a Zoom call or, on our Facebook pages. There's a switch, there's a shift there, and people start to go, what is it? Your hair? What did you do? You look good. Your skin's glowing. You're smiling. Wow, you look really great, Allison. What are you doing? So tonight, I'll first put out the disclaimer. That is, if we get into any discussion of finance or money, understand that with the disclaimers that there are no guarantees and that it is a business. There's a business model with this system. With that said, is that it really is exclusive to you in terms of your experience with the industry. It's your skill set. It's your ability to communicate. It's your ability to track, and most importantly, to share, to bring people in to experience the same. So we don't want to make any claims there. The other thing is, what I do know from my heart is that it's hard to hide when you feel good. And I know, like, just sharing a good restaurant or a good movie, if you were to share your experience with ER Shred with others, I'm sure there are many people who want to feel the same. And if we can show you the tracks to run on, how to do this compliantly, with integrity, coming with alignment with our belief system, which we're going to start talking about tonight, then you're going to bring people in. And if you bring people into ER Shred, into the community, and they have good results, this is organically building. And as a result, here's the business model. If your products are paid for, would you ever quit doing the program? And this is our products with our fulfillment company. My guess is the answer for all of you would be no. If it was free, of course, I'm not going to quit. If you're making money, that's just icing on the cake. So without further ado, I want to bring in and first of all, give some props to my wife, because a lot of the good stuff that I have, I'm like a secret little fly on the wall. I get to hear her good stuff during the daytime when she's coaching others. The quick story about Allison is that this is something that I never saw happening, because I thought after my first marriage, this would never, ever, ever happen again. And interestingly, she never gave up on me, but not from the standpoint of like a stalker or trying to beg me or suggest that, oh, come on, you'll change your mind. Nothing of the sort. What she did is she just started throwing out some pretty good questions, asking me, is that how you actually think? Or is that how you view yourself? Or if you could think differently, would that be of interest to you? And she ended up guiding me to her guru, who literally is a psychologist who does a unique way of handling problems. But the long and short of it is, she took me, my hardcore of there's no way in God's earth I'll ever be in another relationship, and she brought those walls down. I don't know how she did it. Her name is Stephanie Meese. If you hear from her, she is amazing. And I have to give her all the credit in the world. But that was the person who did it for me. But honestly, it would not have happened unless Allison gave me some gentle, loving nudges to go fix myself. That said, the cool thing is this, is that like many of us, we get stuck and we're in a bad place. And so what do? We start seeking out others. We get some great coaching ideas. And I started doing affirmations. What do I want to be? I am. And I started thinking about the perfect person. Then the next thing is I realized I was kind of lonely, and if I could find the right person, I'd like to be in a relationship. So interestingly, as I wrote out all the qualities I wanted to find in my next partner, in my next significant other, if you will, because marriage was out of the question at that time. And interestingly, I wanted somebody who was steeped in personal development. I wanted somebody who was spiritual. I wanted somebody who was loving and caring, but not judging. And I wanted somebody that would make me a better person. In other words, uplifting. They would basically be able to elevate my game. And I kind of wrote all these things out, and literally secret to Allison, I think I told her this before, but we had this little candlelight ceremony that we were doing. So it was like you had to write your wishes out, you put it in an envelope, you put it down, you light the candle, and you basically say affirmations like for 3 days in a row as the candle's burning. And you basically, at the end of it, you make your wish to God, to your source, to the universe, and then you burn your envelope or whatever it is, right? And anyway, shortly thereafter, Allison and I started just casually dating, because it was like, oh, you're home alone? Well, I'm home alone. Hey, why don't we go get a bite to eat? And then it started from there. Anyway, the goodness in my world, where I was blessed, is that I now have Allison as my wife. She's my partner. And like Crystal Escobar is for Sean, she's my muse. She makes me a better person. But the best thing is, and what I like about our ER Shred group is that I also understand it doesn't matter what I say, what Sean says, it's the collective that makes us better. And I love Allison's energy. And I know she has a unique perspective that she can bring to you all that I'm confident will resonate with you better than you hearing it from me. So we're going to start off with an interview process, but ultimately I know I'm going to end up handing it over to her because she's going to basically share with us, I hope, some of the tricks and things that she teaches her, I don't want to say students, but students, right? I guess. You give them ways to communicate that allow them to become successful in their own businesses. And the funny thing about this is that she pretty much takes everything that she learned that we kind of learned collectively because we went to some guru in Toronto and how to set your business up, and it felt icky and it just wasn't authentic for us and it just wasn't right. And we hashed it out and talked about it. And long and short is she ripped everything up and created her own program, and it became super successful. And now the beauty is that she's attracting people who have gone to a myriad of coaches but have never been able to sell anything. But then once Allison gets with them and gets into their belief systems and what's in alignment with what their wishes are, she gets them to speak from the heart. And as a result, they are now becoming successful and they're selling their programs. And that's really what this is all about. If you're in alignment with your own self, with your belief systems, then it's authentic, you're real, and you're relatable. If you're selling something that you can't believe in or isn't authentic to your values, there's no chance. People are going to smell it. They're not going to have anything to do with you. I mean, if they think you're doing it for money, obviously they're not going to do it. Bottom line, we have something very, very special here. I'm excited to bring my wife on now. And we want to pick up from last week. Allison, sweetie, I want to pick up from last week where we started talking about mindfulness, which is your wheelhouse. And we started to talk about how when we cleanse the body from the inside out, we're changing from a cellular level, but we're beginning to change our mindset, our attitudes, how we view the world. And I know you've seen how I've changed and you've been active in the group. So Allison, you have been doing this for over 20 years, coaching women in various ways. You have your programs now. I'm hoping tonight I get to interview you and ask you questions on how you arrived at doing what you're doing today, teaching others, and where does, for example, let's just start with mindset. Why is it important to be aligned with your value system, with your belief system when it comes to the point of when you present what you're representing, or maybe it's an offer? How would you position it?
Hi. Are we echoing?
I'm going to mute. My bad.
Yeah, we are echoing. Okay. So did you want me to talk about how I came to this, or start with why it's important to be in alignment, or a little bit of both?
Okay, maybe we should introduce you a little bit better. So obviously we're in the Air Shred group. How did you come to the Air Shred?
Okay, how did I come to the Air Shred? Well, I've been in Isagenix for 9.5 years. When I first came to Isagenix, I had been in bed for the years prior. Honey, you gotta mute. Sorry. Okay, when I first came to Isagenix 9.5 years ago, I was not functioning at all. I had spent the last 3 years prior in bed with a meaningful autoimmune health challenge, let's just say, that kept me in chronic discomfort and paralyzing exhaustion. We had hired somebody to live in our home to essentially take care of my kids because I was not functioning at all. And, I had literally tried everything. I have been a holistic healer, as Bob mentioned, and an energy healer for 21 years, and a small business owner, really, since, my God, yeah, forever ago. And even though, I thought I knew everything that there was to know about health and wellness and holistic healing, I wasn't able to help myself because I was following a Western medicine only approach. Okay. I wasn't like actually doing what I was teaching other people to do, right? Because this was new to me. And so as a result, I was not functioning. I had no quality of life. I had gained a lot of weight, obviously, because of all the medications that I was taking at the time. Nothing was working. And finally, I hit my wit's end. So I came to Isagenix through my physical therapist, who literally turned my world around. The first time that I did it, I didn't have any coaching and I didn't have any support. I didn't have any guidance. She just sort of said, here, buy a shake here, and you're on your own. And so I lasted about 2 days. I hated it because I had no help, and I spent like the next year talking crap about Isagenix. Finally, a year later, I revisited. I was open-minded to it, and I got the coaching. And for me, that is what made the difference. That is why I had the result that I had, because I had the support, right? And I had that guidance. And so almost overnight, my world changed. My energy came back. I released weight, but that was like a side thing, right? I didn't have the chronic discomfort throughout my body. I wasn't disabled anymore. I could take care of my kids. I was in the gym. And, I've spent the next many, many years building that Isagenix business. And like many of us, you sort of get away from things, you get lazy. I have been through many surgeries in the last bunch of years, which, caused me to not be able to work out the way that I would wanted to, or at all for that matter. And just, a bunch of different things, COVID, the whole nine. Bob and I found ourselves a year ago in this situation where we just weren't feeling good. We were doing our daily shake. Yes, we were doing our ionics, but like the in-between food wasn't, on point. We weren't on our game. And so we were introduced to the shred, like many, by Sean. And, one of the first to like really hear about it, of course, thought, he's crazy and what's he doing? And we can't do that. And, Bob and I have had issues with our blood work at times not being 100% on point. So we had, concerns about that. But being the researcher Bob is, he read all kinds of books. He said, this looks good. I said, all right, we're in, let's do it. The rest is history. That's kind of where we are. I personally struggled a bit myself just because of some of the prior challenges in detoxing that I had. And so I stepped back a little bit, sort of have been watching Bob and been dipping my toe into it. And then in the last 6 weeks, I've been fully immersed, all in, totally different experience this time around, loving it, life-changing, and just on fire, excited about this new energy that truthfully, I haven't really felt in our business for some time.
So can I ask you, I do think this is an important part because it's going to be part of your messaging and it makes you more relatable, but that is, we're all unique, we're different. I know you were the one to push me to say, okay, we're going to do this. And we started October 23rd, and I took the before picture, which some have seen, which I thought that was after a cleanse. So I thought I was looking pretty good, but I had a lot of bloat still. But I guess here's the point, is that we all are on a different journey. We're on a different path. And even though it's hard not to, we shouldn't use other people's experiences or outcomes as our own. Like, we shouldn't own other people's stories, but understand that we're on our own path. And what I appreciate what you did is you had to listen to your own body and realize that, hey, I can't go all in the way Bob did. And I kept reminding you, I can't imagine what you're going through given the surgeries of the past and the medications and so on, the painkillers you had to be on. It was a detox process. So you had done the shred with me in October. I know you came back to it sometime in January, February, right? You came back. This is like your third go around with the ear shred. Is that correct? Even though you've been eating clean, I'm talking about I'm doing an ear shred.
So, yeah, so I shredded with you for about I did 4 cleanses. So it was about a month or so. And I just really struggled. I mean, I watched everybody have these incredible results, and I was longing to have those results, and I just wasn't. I did wind up releasing some weight, but it just didn't feel good. My gut needed healing. Like I was going through this healing crisis, but it was intense, right? And so I had to back off. I did, cleansing in January, but no, it wasn't really until about a month ago when I was like, you know what, like, we're doing this. I'm in a different spot. I'm going to revisit this. And I mean, I have to say that, being immersed in the community and watching all of the people have these great results and seeing all the different types of people having these amazing results was very inspiring to me. So I was sharing the shred with other people, but I was borrowing your story, and I was borrowing Alyssa's story, and I was borrowing Mimi's story, right, to share, but I didn't yet have my own story. So that's kind of where we are. Now I have my own story, and I put a Facebook post up today or the other day based on some of the concepts that I want to talk about tonight that kind of blew up. And I want to sort of break down why maybe that happened, but I'm excited to have my own story, because there really is nothing like that when you have an emotional connection to what it is that you are sharing.
So exactly. So what I admire about what you did is that I didn't put pressure on you. I knew you'd figure it out on your terms. But the interesting thing is that when you out of the blue just said, hey, we're doing this, and I'm like, really? Okay, let's go for it, right? And you were all in, and it was cracking me up because, I mean, you didn't want to do anything that was in violation of the ER shred protocols. Like, well, what else can I eat? I said, well, I have salmon. You're like, well, I'm not gonna eat salmon. Get me a steak, So we had steaks. It was great. And the bottom line is I recognized that you had flipped you turned a new leaf when you weren't complaining, you were feeling better. But the most important thing that hadn't happened in about 10 months is you started waking up before I did. And you were just waking up like you're up. And it was one of those funny things is that you were initially like looking at the phone, checking the phone, putting the phone down, checking the phone. I'm like, oh, why don't you just you're like me. Why don't you just get up? But anyway, the bottom line is you're now experiencing that come alive, feel good feeling. Right?
Something that you just said that I really want to point out that I think is very significant and really is, kind of the cornerstone of some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight as it pertains to how do we connect with our ideal people? How do we inspire people to take action, right? Is that when you are coming to it from the standpoint of putting pressure, or I have to get someone, I have to go out and find people, right? From sort of that standpoint of like almost desperation or like in your face or, whatever, people are going to be repelled by that. Okay. There's too much of that on social media right now, in your face, buy. Nobody wants to hear about it, right? What you just said about how I didn't put any pressure, right? Had you put pressure and been like, come on, try it again, do it this way, push through, I would have been like, bye-bye. I would have pushed you away, right? But what did you do? And what is it our responsibility to do is to just lead by example, right? Is to just be in our truth and to inspire people by, showing up in our new empowered state, feeling good and just being us. And then people are drawn in by that energy. They're like, what is that she's doing? What is that he's doing? Like he's got a different vibe. She's got a different like outlook on life about her. I want that. What is it that they're doing? And then people are coming to you rather than you are putting the pressure on or you are chasing. There's a difference.
So the outcome, obviously what I wanted, the outcome would be, I wanted you to find success. I thought the best would be doing it together and having success, being ER shredders, right? And of course, you being my business partner, it makes it a lot easier if we're both enlightened and excited and on the same page. So for me, it was maybe what I've learned from you, and that is just having that awareness of, I got to give you room and I got to allow you the opportunity to decide when it's right for you. Had I said, suck it up, buttercup, and of course we have to live with one another, I probably would have been hit with a frying pan, or you would have said bye-bye in terms of no ER shred. Probably would have been in the doghouse too. But I know that wouldn't have worked. So now here we are today. Now we're all on board. We're doing great. You're feeling better. But one of the things I think is a great place to start with is I'll use myself as an example. I'm trying to market myself on social media. I'm the first, I don't know dink about Facebook. I'm learning, but it's all because of you and what I pick up from our daughters. But the reality is that I do not know how to communicate or how to put the messaging out there. So I've learned a lot from you. And one of the biggest thing is identifying your ideal customer, as you said, or who your client is. Why don't we start there and talk about why that's important and why me approaching women that are looking to lose baby weight probably isn't the right niche for me.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So, social media is probably the greatest tool that you have at your fingertips. Like there's never been a time where it's easier to build a business than now, right? We have this free way of reaching people all over the world. And while it is a blessing in so many ways when we utilize it correctly, it can sabotage people sometimes when they don't understand some of the elements that go into selling in a way that is authentic, right? And so one of the most important things when you are, among a sea of other people who are selling things, we know we're different, right? I mean, like, duh, we know we're different, but how do we communicate that to people, right? Well, the first thing that we have to have is an idea of who it is we're even talking to, right? In a very specific and clear way, right? Because once we understand who it is that we're talking to, who it is that we truly desire to impact and really to work with, who are our soulmate clients, right? And what are the specific problems that they're struggling with right now? And we understand them so intimately. Sometimes we understand those struggles even more than they are even aware of, right? Because we've been there, we're on the other side, and we can reflect back and think about what it was like, right? Because we're on the other side. So the first thing is really having that clarity so that we can begin to talk to that group of people, right? When we talk to everybody in our messaging, and when we're like, this product is going to help you with this and that and this and that, and you start throwing in all the things, now you're talking to athletes and you're talking to moms who want to lose the baby weight, and you're talking to, men who are trying to get rid of the gut, and nobody really hears the message because you're not seen as an expert in any one thing. So having that clarity around who is it? We know that ER Shred can help literally anybody, right? But who do you want to work with, right? So that is really the very first step, because, until we know that, our messaging is just going to kind of be all over the place. And what do we want? We want to stand out, right? We want to be seen as the go-to person for this specific thing. We want people, when they're having a conversation with their girlfriend, to say, you've got to talk to Bob. It sounds like you have to talk to Bob. Like you would be perfect for what he does, right? And so we start with that clarity of who is it that we desire to talk to, and how do we gain their trust? People are skeptical on social media. How do we gain people's trust? We speak their language, right? We make them feel a certain way. So your communication on social media isn't just going to be about what words you're using, but how do you make someone feel, right? And we're going to dive a little bit more into this, but until we get to that point, the first thing that we need to know before we can even like get on the same vibration and communicate on, like you were talking about last week, I think you guys were talking about when you start to shift in your energy, when you start using ER shred and you start finding that you are in what we call more high vibrating states more often. You're happier, you're excited, you're inspired, you're passionate, right? The other people in your life, maybe who aren't going through that, aren't on that same vibrational frequency, right? And you may start to notice that there's like a little bit of a separation between you and them, right? So what we're trying to do when we're trying to connect with our ideal clients, our ideal audience, is to get on the same frequency as them, which means speaking their language. Okay, connecting with them on a deeper level. Well, we have to know who they are and what they're struggling with and what they desire in order for us to actually start speaking to those things. So that's the first thing.
Let's use the post you did last week as an example, because when I read it, I'm like, okay, I identify with that. I know you. And I'm like, going, yep, she went through that. Okay, agreed. Wow. Oh, cool. And then obviously you did the picture. Now, you never told me you were going to make the post. I mean, actually found out about it after a while because I was out walking the dogs and not paying attention to my phone. But the interesting aspect of it is that I recognized after you mentioned it, that you had put a lot of the elements that you talk about in what creates a good post. And there's a difference here. One of the things we love to, I like to borrow everything from Steve Jobs. I'm all Apple, love Steve Jobs. We're unique. We're the crazy ones. If you've been to ershred.biz, if you haven't visited, please visit it. We take a lot of the concepts that Apple has used of being unique and different, and we apply that to ER Shred because we are unique, we are different, and we do not want to be seen as the same. But what Allison brings and what you did in that post, and you mentioned it, is that you're not trying to be everything to everyone. And at the same time, you're just not throwing it out there on your Facebook. Like I mentioned this to Sean today, it's kind of funny, but whoever saw the movie Beetlejuice, he's like, he's trying to get someone to say Beetlejuice 3 times so that he could get out of the model city he was in. So he's like, hey, down here, Beetlejuice over here, and he had the flashing signs and the kind of the Las Vegas look. But the bottom line is that's not going to move people. They're not going to feel that emotion, or you're not emoting a feeling, and you're not going to get them to identify with you. So why don't we start from you're building the post, and what do you mean by when you say getting your audience to feel feel your pain or to be relatable? Why don't we start from there?
Okay, cool. Perfect. I keep waiting for you to mute so we don't echo. So yeah, let me give you a little bit of context. We can kind of talk about some of the elements that we want to be thinking about as we are connecting with our audience, whether it's on a call with them or it's a Facebook Live that you're doing, or it's a post. Okay. And then I'll sort of break that down for you. And Bob, if you can find a way to let me screen share, I can screen share and kind of walk through the anatomy of that, if you will. And so something that I see a lot on, in the online world and with entrepreneurs is kind of playing it safe in our content, playing a little bit surfacey when it comes to creating your social media presence and your posts, right? We may talk about like tips to better health, or something that I see a lot is, promotion of the next sale, or, the getting started kit, or enroll by Sunday, things like that, right? But what we know about human behavior and really buying psychology is that in order to take action, we must first feel something, okay? We have to have an emotion of some sort, and whether that be the emotion of inspiration, hope, could be anger. We could feel angry about something, and that may inspire us to take action, right? And so the content that you put out there has to really speak to your audience on an emotional level and to connect with them where they are in their journey right now. And this can be done in a variety of ways. My favorite way is through some type of storytelling, right? And so let's back up a few steps here and just talk about the process that has to happen before someone takes action. Because I think when you understand this is very helpful. And when I say takes action, that could be reaching out to you for more information. That could be booking a call. That could be joining the Facebook group. That could be going to your website and, purchasing the product. But many of you guys know, and, kind of piggybacking on last week, that I talk a lot about how everything is energy. Okay. And, Bob talked last week about how shredding impacts your personal energy, and how when your energy is right, your mood is right, and everything gets a little bit easier. And, when it comes to sharing the shred, everything comes down to energy as well. Okay, it's an energy exchange that's happening. And that energy exchange ultimately at the end of the day has to be built on a sense of trust from the potential client that you're talking to, or that's reading your post, or that's coming into your world, right? And when we're selling in an authentic way, we're sharing in an authentic way, the intention in which we share information or relate to our client really matters. It matters a lot. Like we said, 80% of communication is nonverbal. So when someone reads your post or watches your Facebook Live or looks at an email from you, it's the energy or the way that they feel from that experience that actually matters, right? And so even though our words are powerful, our words have an energy to them. Like think about the word badass or like crushing your goal, right? There's an image and that evokes a feeling inside. And so your potential clients are reading that energy from the moment that they come into your world, in person and online. When they go to your Facebook page, every post that you make, the branding that you have, the things you're talking about, they are taking this information in and they're deciding whether they feel drawn to you or not as a person first, before they're even going to be open to hear anything about your business. Do they feel connected to you as a person? And that's really the first step. If they don't feel drawn in by your energy, then the content that you're creating becomes irrelevant because they first need to feel that connection with you. And so I always tell people to kind of think about people who are magnetic. Everyone just wants to be around them. They want to hear what they have to say. They have this presence of confidence, right? That's the energy that people are tapping into. And the same thing goes with the content that you are creating on social media. So what you want to ask yourself is like, am I playing it safe with more kind of general or surfacey posts about, the logistics of my program or my product or the sale? Or am I taking them on an emotional journey to create content that's going to trigger my audience to actually feel something? Okay. What we know is that people do not buy on facts, figures, and science, honestly, and tips. Okay. They don't buy with the logical side of their brain that focuses on knowledge. So telling them a few tips for better health isn't really going to inspire them. Okay. Talking about the quality of your whey protein or what they're going to be getting in the kit for a discount doesn't inspire people to act. Or like talking about the logistics of our program, like you eat this, you don't eat that, you cleanse this many days. Those aren't the kinds of things that inspire people to take actions. And so in our conversations and on social media, we want to take the focus off of giving all the details of the actual protocol and instead dive into the why. Why would they even want to consume that product or implement that protocol to begin with? Okay. What are they struggling with right now in their life? And this is where we want to really get that clarity about who is it I'm talking to. Am I talking to the moms who want to lose the last 10 pounds of the baby weight? Or am I talking to the women who are going through menopause? Because their struggles are going to be different. So what is your ideal audience struggling with right now in their life? And how is that showing up for them in their day-to-day experience. Okay, like what are specific examples of what that looks like in their life, right? What are they thinking about internally? How is it impacting them physically, mentally, spiritually, in their relationships, as a partner, as a parent, at work? I want you to write these things down, because these are the things I want you to brainstorm out of. How is staying stuck in this space showing up for them in their real life experience right now? Okay. The first step is connecting with your audience in showing them that you understand those deeper aspects of their situation, and then being able to show them that you know what it's like by painting that picture for them, usually through storytelling. Showing them that you understand the struggle and you understand their desires. So not just what does life look like right now and how is it impacting them, but what is it that they want more than anything beyond just fitting into the skinny jeans? Because let's face it, when it comes to weight loss, it's not ever just about fitting into the skinny jeans, right? How is having that excess weight impacting them on a deeper level in all of those different ways that I just, shared? And so in your content, you're going to take them on this journey of showing them that you understand those aspects, of pointing out, what are those myths? What are those lies in the industry that they've been fed? What are those things that they're doing to try to fix the situation? And why is that not the answer? Right? That's how you show your authority. You gain their trust and you show your authority by saying, I understand what it is that you're doing. I'm validating your frustrations, right? I get it. I've been there. This is why it's not working. And this is what is going to work. This is what you should be doing. Okay. And so, there's this domino effect, and it starts with our beliefs. And this is what I teach my my women entrepreneurs in my program. But I teach them that, that it all really starts with our beliefs. Okay. And that the beliefs are then going to basically control everything. They control your thoughts, which control your emotions, and your emotions control your actions. And so if we can shift someone's belief around what is possible for them, then you're going to trigger an emotion, which then triggers a new action. And the idea is that this new action is working with you, right? Taking steps to find out more about our program and working with you. So I'll give you an example. If I'm feeling stuck in my weight loss journey because I believe that in order for me to lose weight, it has to be so hard. I have to give up everything. I have to restrict all the things that I love. I have to exercise 1,000,000 hours, and it's going to take all this hard work. Then that belief is going to cause an emotion, right? Let's just say it's going to cause me to feel hopeless, or it's going to cause me to feel unmotivated, or like dread taking steps, right? Because who wants to take steps when they think that they have to give up everything and it's going to be so hard, right? And so because of that belief system that I have and that emotion that I have, I'm not probably going to take action, right? Because of how that belief makes me feel. Now, if we know that someone needs to feel something before they act, then we want our content to go deeper than surface level. We want it to hit them in a way where they can relate, where they say, is she in my head? Right? This is the kind of content that would cause someone to reach out to buy or to inquire or to take action to join your group, regardless of what product it is that you're promoting, because you're causing them to feel validated, to be seen, to be heard, right? And if I can shift her belief, and I'm just going to say her, and it's for the men too, but I'm just used to saying her. But if I can shift her belief that weight loss doesn't have to be so hard, and I don't have to give up everything that I love, right? And I don't have to be in the gym 100 hours a day in order to see any results, right? Then I can bring her into an emotional state of hope, of excitement, of motivation, right? Because I'm showing her a new way. And that's what Air Shred is. It's a new way. Okay. And so, let me give you an example of this, and you can tell me how this feels. If I say that I'm someone who helps women with weight loss, and the majority of my emails and my posts and my Facebook lives are revolved around tips for losing weight, like, don't go to the store when you're hungry, or prepare your food the night before, journal, keep track of what you're eating, things like that, keep track of your emotions, right? You may walk away and say, that's cool. Those are some good tips. She's got some nice free tips, and you may or, may not implement them, but you're likely not going to take action because you didn't feel anything. However, if I create a post around what it's like to have the extra weight, the why, okay, how it's impacting their daily life. Maybe I'm telling a story about the time that I was in Paris when I walked by the shops and I saw my reflection in the mirror, and, or the time when I had to take a family photo and I had to hide behind all the kids and my head is just poking out, right? Or that maybe there aren't any pictures of me for my kids because feel shame around how I look. Now you have somebody's attention because you're literally in their head talking about their real life experience. And I'm getting into the emotions of how having this problem is affecting them in a deeper way. And they're going to begin to relate to this, and they're going to begin to trust me because we have this shared part of our journey that they can relate to. I have her attention. Then at the end, I may move into, and you got to pause it. Then at the end, I move into inspiration, where I share with them what I have, that I have found a way to release the physical weight and the emotional weight through a journey of self-love, and how I was able to turn around the years of yo-yo dieting by taking the power back around eating using the ER shred. How through the ER shred, I have been able to now discover what my body wants and deserves, right? And really see, and to take the control back around food, right? And so I've gone through this series of emotions with them, and maybe now they feel validated, they feel hopeful, inspired that they can do it too, because if she could do it, why can't I do it? So I've shifted.
Let me ask you this quick question. So you're saying a lot here, but one of the things that I'm hearing is that you want to make yourself relatable to your audience. You want to be kind of like raw and real. That's how you were. You shared your experience. I felt these things, and you probably were knowing that you would relate to other women that are feeling the same. When you're talking about building this persona or this conversation with people through social media, are you doing this over several different types of posts? Like, be it, where are you at on a certain day? I'm feeling this. Is it through a series of multiple posts? Because you're not going to throw that all into one post. You got to you're trying to build your, I guess, your social media presence, for lack of a better word. I mean, how would you go about this from a constructive standpoint?
So these are the high points. This is the overview. These are the elements that you want to hit throughout various points in your social media. You want to make that connection with them. Where are they in their struggle? What is it that the day-to-day life looks like? Maybe what are they doing right now? And why isn't it working? You transition into, basically, I have found this new way of doing things. And because of that, this is what my life looks like. And now I'm highlighting the desires. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen if I can.
You can.
Okay. And I'll just kind of break this down, but yeah, I mean, when you are constructing a story, those are the elements of the story. You make that connection with them and you create that trust. You paint that picture about, where were you and what was it like and what were you doing and what were you thinking, and how you found this new way of doing things, or this new way of approaching the problem, and what does life look like now? And then there's a call to action to connect with you in some way. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically saying, I'm starting to tell the story about how 30 days ago, I was in this place where I had to take a cold, hard look at how I was functioning physically and emotionally day to day. And I decided it was time to make a change. And in this next piece here, I talk about how I've been a healthy eater for many years, right? But what I didn't realize is that healthy is relative, and what works for one person doesn't serve another. And the reason why I say this is because I'm talking to the people who are already eating healthy, and they want change, okay? Because I want to talk to the audience, to the types of people who want change. They're actively doing something right now. It's just not working. Okay. I don't want to have to convince somebody that they should want this. I don't want to talk to the people who don't want to make a change. That's not my audience. My audience are the type of people who know there's a problem. They're actively doing something right now to fix it. It's just not working, and they're looking for a new solution. Okay. So that's why I say that here, because I know that that's going to relate to my audience. They're going to go, well, I've been a healthy eater for many years too. And yeah, that it's not working for me either. So I immediately have her trust there. Okay. So I talk about, I sort of plant that seed, how I hopped on this new protocol. I'm not saying what it is, but I hopped on this new protocol, and it's completely changed you, in every way possible. Right. And so then I start talking about what my results are, and I'm talking about my results, but I also understand that this is also the desires of my audience, right? They don't want to feel bloated. And where we paint a specific picture here is not just saying, I'm not tired anymore. Well, what does that mean? Okay. The exhaustion and not knowing how I'm going to make it till the end of the day without a nap is gone. That's a specific picture that someone can relate to, where they can go, that's totally me. I feel like I need to take a nap every day. That hits deeper than I'm just not tired anymore. Okay. The sugar cravings and the blood crashes. And then this one again hits a little bit deeper here. I'm waking up before the alarm in the morning with less hours of sleep, feeling refreshed and excited to start the day, instead of feeling like I didn't sleep a minute and dreading the alarm, which is where they are right now. Okay, so I'm saying this is where you are right now. And I know that because I've been there, but this is what's possible. It's possible to wake up before the alarm and get less hours of sleep and actually be excited. And so what the key is here in your storytelling is that you're really painting that very specific vision for them that's relatable to you, so that you're gaining their trust with each sentence of the post. And then, I'm taking the message away from like the number of weight loss, and really, for me, making it more about like the toxic inflammation and what that feels like in your body, because that's important to me and that's authentic to me. Okay. And because my weight loss is not the piece that I want to focus on. I released 5 pounds. Like, that's not that big of a deal. But what is a big of a deal is what that toxic inflammation was doing to my body, and what is now possible now that it's gone. Okay. And that's why that's more of the focus here. And I talk about all the shit that I've been through with the abdominal surgeries and the slicing the muscles and the things like this, because I want someone to say, well, if she's been through that and they sliced through all her muscles and she's got some abs poking, then certainly for me, like, I could probably do this and probably crush it even more than her. Right. And so I'm making it about how can I relate it back to the person I'm talking about. Now, in this section, I'm overcoming their objections. Okay. One of the things that in their beliefs, one of the things that people think around weight loss is that they have to exercise, right? Oh, well, Bob has that body, or whoever has that body, they must have been like in the gym all the time, and I don't want to do that. Well, I'm overcoming that objection by saying, I've done zero exercise. So they're like, really? And they can see themselves, well, maybe this would work for me, right? And then same here. I'm not perfect by any means. And then I list all the things that we did that made us not perfect. So that that person who thinks that they have to have this really rigid, like black and white, I'm never going to be able to enjoy the things that I like ever again. They go, really? Huh, maybe I could do that. And so these are some of the elements. And so here's kind of the call to action is essentially if you're stuck, lost, exhausted, confused about all the things, I'm happy to help. And then, this is not a cookie cutter system. It's about you. It's about getting, helping you, individualizing you. That's where what I'm doing here is setting us apart from the cookie cutter diet by saying, this is different. This is about you getting back to a baseline. This is about you resetting your metabolism. This is different than what you've done in the past. And those are really the key elements of a post. Now, not every post is going to be a story. We're going to have all of those elements, but those are the ones that you're really shooting for. How can I overcome the objections that people have of why they don't want to do it? How can I show them how we're different? How can I paint the picture and create the gap for where they are right now in their life and where they actually want to be, and that I have the vehicle to take them from A to Z by doing something that's different than what they've done before. And when you hit those elements, nobody cares what the price is. Nobody cares what the protocol is. They're not going to ask you, now, how many times do I do? They don't care. It's like, sign me up. Those are all the things that I want and I need and I relate to, and I want what you have. How do we do this?
Question. So one of the neat things about this particular post is you did get comments from people who were following you that you hadn't heard from in some time. In fact, you mentioned, you go, oh my God, I don't even realize they were still in Facebook or in the group, but they had followed you or had done Isagenix in your past. So that was really what your goal was, not to get people who are already in Isagenix, but get people who had thought about it, left, or were not in communication, but you were able to get them to comment on the post, or they saw it at least. So that was the real aha for me, is that you were able to get the people, the audience that you were targeting, they actually commented on your post, correct?
Oh yeah, I mean.
So this would be but they used to refer to this would this be considered like a power post that you do like once a week or once every now? How often would you do a post like this on your social media?
You gotta mute.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Doing something like this, which is, has all of the elements and you're tagging people and, there's the visual like this, and you're doing a pretty obvious call to action to connect. That is more of a power post. And I would say on your personal page, 1 to 2 times a week or so, are you going to do something like that? The other times are gonna talk about, you're gonna hint to what you're doing. You're gonna show the lifestyle. Like, for instance, here, it's just ear shred friendly dinner. I'm showing my delicious cheeseburgers with avocado as a way to show people, like, this is what I'm eating. And I wrote here, feeling pretty deprived over here. Because I know that one of the objections of people is, I'm going to be deprived. I'm never going to be able to, I'm not going to be full. I'm going to be counting calories and eating salads all day. Well, because I've done my research on my person and I know what her objections are and I know why she's resistant, I'm going to be proactive in speaking to those objections. But I'm not saying here, hey, call me. Reach out. Oh, I'm just showing my dinner. Do you know what I'm saying? So the power post is more of a, this is where I'm at. This is what life could look like that, If you're feeling lost, stuck, confused, my doors are open. I'm happy to help. That is but can you see how that would be more powerful than get in by Sunday? Free shipping. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, call me, let's get you an account. Do you know what I'm saying?
So one of the things that, this is one of the things I wanted to ask you is that when someone comments on your post, it's important that you reply directly back to them and send them a message back, correct? I mean, is that how you increase the algorithm? You want to touch on that?
For sure. So this particular post, I did a lot of tagging in this post. And again, guys, this is authentically me feeling freaking grateful and lit up. Like, the part of the reason why a post is going to get a lot of traction is, yes, there are tricks and things that I'm going to tell you about in terms of the algorithm and how do you get your post to be seen. But if we're getting back to the energy conversation, right? This post was written in gratitude. Ooh, I just got full body chills. This post was written because I woke up and it had been a month and I went, wow, like, and I started to take a trip down memory lane of all the things that have changed. And I was genuinely grateful, passionate, excited, and I genuinely wanted to inspire others that maybe were in the same position. So like, I wrote it with that in mind, with that intention. So I want to make sure that we understand that that is very important. Okay. And the other thing is when you're in that energetic space of gratitude and excitement and passion, the words just come right through you. They just flow right through you because they're just real and authentic. And you're just saying what is on your heart. You're not like, should I use that? Should I? No, it's like, it's just coming right out of me. You know what I mean? So that was part of this, but I tagged Sean, I tagged Crystal, I tagged all these people for helping me. Now, when you tag, and I don't suggest that you tag everybody on all your posts because that can just kind of get annoying for people, right? But something like this, then I know those people are probably going to go to the post and probably comment on it, right? And their people are going to see it because they're being tagged. So more people are basically seeing it, right? And so that's automatically going to help the Facebook algorithm. For those of you who don't know what that means, it's, Facebook decides within the first, I think it's like 13 minutes or so, how popular a post is going to be by, how much interaction was on the post, who liked it, who commented, whatever. If comments start rolling in rather quickly, then Facebook goes, ooh, people like this. We're going to show this to more people. And that's how, it starts going. Now, ways that you can kind of keep the algorithm up, like Bob mentioned, are by replying directly to people who are making comments. So, and replying with more than just an emoji, like it has to be 4 letters or more. Okay. Thank people. Something that you can do to help engage is to ask questions. So like you may say, oh my God, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Glad to see you here. How have you been? And then she comes back and goes, oh, I've been great. And now there's comments that are going back and forth. Okay. Now, people who are liking your post, you can look, okay, who liked it? All right, maybe there's somebody on that list who I chatted with a month ago and, she didn't take action. That's cool. We have this, when it comes to this business that we're building, it's not about us and our timeline. And it's about us presenting the information and inspiring people, letting them know what their options are and supporting them where they are at. So maybe you talked to somebody a month ago, it wasn't a good fit for them, but you're like, oh, they're commenting on my thing or they're liking my thing. And then maybe that's an opportunity for you to reconnect with that person. Thanks for the love on my post. How have you been? And it doesn't necessarily have to be, and I don't recommend that it be this. Thanks for the love on my post. Hey, are you still interested? Or, you know what I mean? Like, just be normal. Thanks for loving on my post. I'm feeling, freaking amazing. How have you been? Well, I've been watching you and I've been thinking about reaching out because that's usually what's going to happen when you do that.
Guys, I know this is such good information, and I know we're gonna have to come back again and talk more about this, but I do have a few more questions. And that is, can you talk about the consistency? Because that's something that I learned because you pushed me out of my comfort zone. I started doing Facebook Lives, but then I would fall off. But I noticed that when I was consistent doing lives, my audience was building and the comments were building. But one of the most unique things, once I identified my avatar, like who am I speaking to? And it just like, duh, I'm going to talk to guys with a dad bod or people who are my age that are feeling it and not feeling as good as they once did. I got to start talking about myself. So go out there and be more consistent. How important is that once you choose to go on social media? Can you talk about the consistency and why that's so important?
Yeah, consistency.
Oops, sorry.
Maybe I should unmute myself. Consistency is everything. And it's everything for so many reasons. I mean, obviously you're building your audience. You know, a lot of times people think, oh, I'm posting too much, or people are going to get annoyed or whatever. And it's like, we have this almost self-centered view that people are just sitting on Facebook, like hanging on what you're posting. And here's the reality with Facebook algorithms. Like, most people are not seeing your posts on any given post. And that's why posting consistently is so important, so that people do actually see your posts, right? You know, Facebook doesn't want you to post once every month and abandon your people. They're not going to reward you for that. You know, they're going to reward you for consistently using their platform. And, you know, just getting back to not knowing where people are in their journey. And so if you happen to be posting at the time frame when somebody has decided, you know what, I'm rock bottom and I want to make a change, and you're the one who's consistently out there, you're the one that they're going to call. And if you're not consistently out there, they're going to call the person who is. Okay. And so, you know, that's incredibly important. Facebook Lives, like if you guys can just go live, that's literally everything. I mean, think about how you can connect with somebody. If, you know, if the goal here is to build trust and to connect with your audience and to allow them to feel your authenticity and your passion and your excitement, nothing captures that like a live video, right? We couldn't have done this training just in typing it out and you're reading it and getting the same effect from it. So that live video, if you can really challenge yourself to go live on a consistent basis, and just share value with some type of call to action, and really focusing on the why would somebody even want to be doing this and connecting with them in that way. Your personal page technically isn't supposed to be used for business. So you want to really take an audit of your Facebook page, make sure that it's not like every time you post, it's about Isagenix. You don't want that. You want people to see who you are. You want to celebrate Daughter's Day and Son's Day, and your kid is doing this, and you're so excited about that. Things that are not related to Isagenix, where people can actually just connect with you as a human.
So a couple of quick things. I don't know if I got feedback or not. The one thing that it is that you want to be consistent. One of the things that you taught me is that I used to have fun because it always kind of bumped my audience when I would go on with you, because you had a bigger audience, but it started getting me going with Facebook Lives. But what I noticed is that I always used to say to you, well, who in the hell is going to be watching me in the backyard at, 3 o'clock in the afternoon? I mean, no one's going to pay attention to this. You're like, no, just go do it. Trust me. And the neatest thing began to happen in our community here in North Chicago is we would go to an event. maybe it's a wedding, or maybe we're at the, Ravinia watching a concert outdoors, and people would run into us. They go, "Oh yeah, I know you. You're on Facebook all the time with your wife." And it was like they act like they knew me. They called me by my first name, and of course, Bob, yeah, I know you, and oh yeah, your dog, you post with your dogs, etc. I'm like going, wow, this is weird. You got to be kidding. People are actually watching. So that is one. When you do go live, understand, even though no one's viewing it, maybe that day, people are seeing it. I don't know how it gets tracked by Facebook, but trust me, people are watching. I've had friends tell me I've been secretly stalking you for 3 years and never made one comment on any live or any post that I ever made, but finally said, you know what? I want to do that ER shred thing. I'm like, what? Yeah, I didn't want to tell you, but I've been secretly stalking you. Don't think I'm weird. But I mean, I've had that happen to me. And then another thing is fun is that if you start doing a lot of lives, then all of a sudden in Facebook memories, you're going to have your lives come circle back. And one of the tricks that I learned from my wonderful wife is if that's a great post, you're like, oh yeah, that live got a lot of traction. That was a lot of fun. And it doesn't have to be about our business or not. Again, it's just about people relating with you. It could be on you on vacation. It could be a number of things. Is all you have to do is make a simple comment. Wow, what a great time. Love this memory, something of that nature. And what happens is it gets repopulated as if it's a brand new live, right, sweetie? So literally it's like an ongoing film. So the key is that I guess we go live with intention, with an idea or concept. It doesn't always have to be about our business, but like many people who have watched Sean, and I listen to all the Wednesday calls that I can, he asked this question, how did you hear about ER Shred? And in the beginning, and even to this day, a lot of people will say, well, Sean, I started watching videos of you. You started coming on Facebook all the time. And I was taking notice. And what Sean was doing is he was sharing his journey, but it was always something different, but he got really raw and real. He was like, whoa, wow. And then it's like, and sometimes he would get emotional. You're like going, that's crazy. But what he was able to do is he was able to get his feelings out in a live with his audience. And we all here, we connected with it because we ended up coming to ER Shred because of that live. So last few tips, what would you add to our audience that they could do that we haven't touched on? Or you had a thought and I don't want to cut you off. What were you thinking?
No, I just wanted to say that what you just said about Sean and how he was able to really be the kindling that then exploded ER Shred was by going live, being raw, being real, being relatable. And because he was emotional, other people were relating to that and they were feeling emotional as well, which is exactly what we've been talking about today. Because they felt something, they were like, I want what he's doing. And they may have asked a few questions, but had he not done that, had he just gotten on and been like, hey guys, I discovered this protocol and you eat meat and you do this and do that, join me, ER Shred would not be what it is, right? It was because of him being willing to connect with his audience by showing his vulnerability and triggering that emotion in other people.
So here's a trick, guys. This is what I have learned by doing it myself, because I have cried on Facebook and didn't think it would happen. But when you're raw and authentic, you have the emotion when you share with your Facebook, and it isn't scary because you're just talking to your cell phone. You're looking in your cell phone, talking to the phone. But when you share something that's personal, that maybe something that you don't openly share on a daily basis, but it's something more private about you, but you are more authentic, real with your feelings, you'll be surprised how emotions bubble up when you all of a sudden are in touch with your feeling and you're willing to verbalize it. Like, guys, you don't understand how good I actually feel. I am a better, and it wasn't about me, but as soon as I made it, I'm a better husband to my wife, I thought about how I'm showing up. That's what choked me up. It wasn't, I was feeling better, but as soon as I started talking about how I was a better husband to my wife, for whatever reason, that got me all choked up. But once I got choked up, I was like, okay, I got to study myself, take a deep breath. But when that was kind of like the magic moment, because for the first time, I let the curtain down and I let somebody into my inside world. And I think that's one of the things that we can learn from Sean. And my wife does a wonderful job of it. And that is people who are good on Facebook, Mimi is getting really good at it, is she just basically shows her authentic self. And when she giggles, she giggles. When she laughs, she laughs. When she makes a faux pas, she makes fun of herself or whatever it might be. She's just having fun, but she's being so real that you're kind of like drawn to it. Like, I want to know if is Chester going to fart today? I don't know, but Mimi talks about Chester's farts or whatever it might be, or the feral cats. I mean, or you show the waves, you show the morning, the sun. I mean, you make it very, very interesting, but I'm tuning into Mimi and it's genius. I don't even think she's barely talking about Shred, but she interweaves it now and then, but she's doing it the right way. Honey, we've gone a little bit over an hour. I will have you back, but any last suggestions, thoughts, ideas as it relates to mindset and social media, or what we could be doing tomorrow as people who are trying to build a business? Tips, tricks, anything come to mind?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would just kind of take a look at your social media. I mean, I would start by writing out 5 categories, Isagenix being one of them, but then maybe 4 other things that you're passionate about or that you're excited about. Do you love dogs? Do you love animals? Do you love travel? Do you love knitting? Just as kind of a starting point so that you can start to fill your social media feed with not only Isagenix related stuff, but who are you as a person, right? Because ultimately your tribe is going to connect with you through the combination, the holistic, combination of all of who you are. You are the secret sauce, right? And when they are buying Isagenix, they are buying you, right? The opportunity to work with you, to be in your presence, to be with you. And so just starting to kind of look at your branding in that way. And, to just be honest, have you, and if you have been, that's okay. We've all been here, but have you been sort of leading with and focusing on what the actual product is, or the actual like protocol is, or the sale? Or have you been sharing inspiration around and connecting with the audience around why they would even want to take a look at the shred, right? And then just really maybe writing out your ideal scenario of who is that perfect person who you want to work with. Who do you want to impact? What specific problems do you want to help people to overcome? And that may be based on your own story, and it may not be, right? But not only what are the, obviously I know Bob has talked about, kind of what are those characteristics that person would have, but how are they struggling in their day-to-day? And I can't tell you how important just like really spending time thinking about how it's impacting them and showing up in their day-to-day, so that you can kind of use that to connect with them, because it's that connection and it's that building of trust that has to be there before somebody's going to be open-minded to even look at what you have to offer. And so we have to just kind of keep that in mind, I guess. That's ultimately what I would say. And then I just love, one other thing is around recycling content is in, when you guys see your memories pop up, look at your memories every day. And if there's something there that's like, ooh, this was a good post, make a comment on it, like it, whatever. That's going to bring it back up. I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I don't know why it's echoing. A couple of weeks ago, I made a comment on a post from 3 years ago that was, us in the Legacy Club. And everybody was congratulating us on getting into the Legacy Club. And it was blowing up. And it was from 3 years ago, but people didn't realize that, and so it made its appearance again. So when you go into your memories, that's a good place to recycle, because a lot of times, we think, well, what are we going to post about? What are we going to do? And we can recycle things, and that's okay too. So you're sort of building this library essentially that continues to live on and to get recirculated as people find it. It's really kind of cool.
All right, guys, I came over here because I made Allison the host. So she's the one who's going to have to end this call tonight.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
But-
I'm just looking in the comments, and thank you guys so much for your kind words. I appreciate it so much.
Now, this has been a lot of fun, and I hope that you all got something from it, and we will do more of these type of things. Maybe we can do it in panel discussions, but simply put, the idea is get adventurous, go out there on your Facebook, do something new, something different. And if you're not there yet, it's okay. Leverage the group then and invite your friends to just be part of ER Shred. And I think they're participating in the lives, be it on Wednesday night, being on Tuesday night with Jesse's call, or just seeing the testimonials in the posts we have in ER Shred. That's a great place to start to invite people to take a look. So there's no perfect way to do this business, but using social media is definitely one of the great app, I would say a great quiver or arrow to leverage for all of our businesses. Anyway, top of the hour, we're kind of run a little late. So thank you for sticking with us. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Love you all. And we'll see you next Thursday night. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Ellie. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you,
You're
Bob.
welcome.
Thanks,
Great
Allison.
night.
You're very welcome.
Bye.
Thank you, people.
Bye.
Bye,
Hey,
Mel.
Brent. Good to see you, Brent.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Take care,
Trace.
guys.
Bye, Laura. Bye, Susan.
Bye.
Bye, you guys. Good
Hey,
night.
Bob, did you oil that chair? It didn't squeak tonight.
I don't think he did he hear you? I don't think his earbuds were in.
He doesn't have his earbuds. I said you oiled that chair, didn't you?
Thank you, Elle. Melanie, you have a great night.